Hi, my name is David W. White Jr., better known as Brother White. I've been a member of St. John's Church for about 15 years, and they were the best 15 years I've ever witnessed. Pastor Woods is my brother, my friend, and my pastor. In fact, he's a family member. Whenever there's a family gathering, it's a requirement that Pastor Woods be a member, and he's always there, never any problems. Thank God for Pastor Woods. I met Pastor Woods about 50 years ago in the Camden area, particularly Parkside. Even then, he impressed me as a scholar and a gentleman and a young man who was only about 20 years old that really loved the Lord. Very sincere and very conscientious. I've got a long story in that regard. Pastor Woods, my baby sister Dolores, and two other young ladies always met on a Saturday morning for breakfast. They would go from house to house. This particular Saturday, they ran out of potatoes and eggs. What is breakfast without potatoes and eggs? What did they do? They went to my mother's, Mom White's house, for potatoes and eggs. If you want breakfast food, always go to a family where there's children. And we had 9 brothers and sisters. They got their potatoes and eggs and went to a designated spot and had breakfast. Evidently, money must have been tight in those days if you couldn't afford to buy potatoes and eggs. But that was what we call fellowshipping. My ministries in the church have been a few. Lay speaker, I taught Vacation Bible School. Believe it or not, I was superintendent of Sunday school through Sister Carmen Woods years ago. We've got a men's Bible fellowship. We teach that on Saturday morning. We're working that in conjunction with the men's fellowship. But above all, I like being lay speaker best of all. It's very challenging and very rewarding. Pastor Woods has been very encouraging in our being a lay speaker. He doesn't put any restrictions on you. You can be very at ease and almost do it as the Spirit leads. And we just enjoy that part of our ministry. Of all the ministries, as I said earlier, I believe that lay speaking would be the most enjoyable for me. And Pastor Woods has been a big inspiration and encouraging for me to work in that particular ministry. Pastor Woods has been a friend, a mentor, and a brother in my years' experience with him. I would like to say this, that we've sat under many ministers down through the years, and of all the ministers that I've sat under, Pastor Woods would come out at the top. It's because of the kind of man he is. He really loves the Lord, and he's very sincere in what he does and how he does it. And if anybody's going to make it into heaven, it'll be Pastor Woods going through one of those 12 gates. May I interject this at this point? Years ago, on a Saturday night, we always had parties. And this particular Saturday night, we had a party at the Reverend Woods Sisters, Jackie in Magnolia, New Jersey. We sat around and drank soda and ate potato chips and did a little dancing. Pastor Woods would come in always late, always laid back, get over in the corner and relax. We would start dancing. Pastor Woods never did the boogaloo or that kind of dancing, but he loved to two-step. He would grab a young lady over in the corner and pull her out on the floor, do a couple dances, but then he would leave. All of a sudden he would disappear, but that was the kind of guy he was. He never seemed to be comfortable when he was out socializing like that. Evidently God was dealing with him then. It was just not his area. He would show up, but laid back as he is today. But we enjoyed his company. Further, he must have been about a little over 20 years old. He would come into our church at Camden, Bethel AME, and then he was not an ordained minister, but he would give sermonettes to the young people. But what surprised me was he would never take an offering. He would always give the offering back and say, look, use this for whatever effort. But that's part of Pastor Woods. God was using him then. And he just went on to higher heights. And we saw a lot of growth in him from that point on. And it was just a joy to be around. I'd like to say this. If you want to be a friend of Pastor Woods, fix him a pot of lima beans, ham hocks, and biscuits. You got a friend for life. And he loves good eating. And it's nice to see him in a relaxed atmosphere, because Pastor Woods so many times is so tensed up, he never gets a chance to relax. So when he comes to a family gathering, he's relaxed and he doesn't want to leave. And that's always a blessing there. In fact, he was at our last Thanksgiving dinner at one of my son's house. Pastor Woods came with his daughter, and I left him there at 9:30 at night. He's still sitting there, and I'm going home. But he was there relaxed with my sons and their wives and their daughters. And it's always a pleasure being around him, because of the fact that he doesn't talk church when he's out, but he can get into other areas. And he's just a nice sort of guy to be around and be relaxed with. But let me say this. Pastor Woods is a very poor loser. If you want a friend, if you want a good friend, let him win. I played checkers with Pastor Woods, and I think I won a couple games. He got a little attitude, but I know what to do. I said, uh-oh, I'm going to reverse this thing. So then he got on a roll, and he whipped me, and he had the biggest smile on his face because he won. So if you're ever in a game, always let him win. If not, you've got an enemy. But that's just his nature. He didn't mean any harm by it, but some people are winners and some are losers. Pastor Woods is a winner all the way. It is my understanding that Pastor Woods has about 2 more years here. Now, in those 2 years, we hope to accomplish a whole lot. Whatever the Spirit leads. I understand we're into a building program. If the Spirit leads, fine. But my thought is this: whomever the bishop sends here, I hope he is of the caliber of Pastor Woods. If not, I can see a decline in the membership, because the chief shepherd plays a big part on feeding and holding his flock. And at this point, I really don't see anybody else around us that even can stand in Pastor Woods' shadow. Pastor Woods is the kind of guy that, as you know, that he preaches and cries when he preaches. That's you don't see that often. He's a man among men. He's a man that loves his flock. He's a man that goes out of his way to shepherd his flock. My wife has been in the hospital many times, and I can say this truthfully, that Pastor Wood has been there. Sometimes he even beats me there and will stay. Go down and have breakfast and come back up and stay. And you just don't find that type of shepherd anymore. And we just thank God for Pastor Woods, and we're praying constantly that God will continue to use him, give him the strength and the energy to go on to attend his flock, and bless him in a mighty way, and keep him out of hurt, harm, and danger, and let nobody turn him around, that he'll be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. And I declare unto you that he'll get his reward in glory. God bless you and keep you, Brother Woods.